Who will do, tiddly peeps? I'm Hubba Hubba, talking to you from Hoobland, and I'm about to send 4 of my favourite Hoobs down to Earth to find out all about you for my great Hoobopedia. Here they come! You know who the Hoobs are?
Iver!
Groove!
And Tula!
We're Hoobs! And they're ready to go. Now the wheels are turning, we can all get learning all the things we want to know.
Hey!
Hubba Hubba's in Hoobland, and Roma somewhere far away. The motorettes are singing, we keep the engine spinning. Hoop hoop hooray! The Hoobmobile is coming your way.
Way!
The Hoobs are here, so what do you say? Hoobs!
Oh, our pond is hooby groovy. Don't you think, Tula?
Hooby groovy.
Yeah. It's so bluey and greeny and silvery. I wonder what it would be like to live in the pond.
Live in the pond. Groove. That would mean living underwater.
Groove! Tula, can you come down a minute?
And living underwater would mean getting wet.
Getting wet, yeah.
Groove! Tula! We need a question for Hoob News!
Let's go and help Iver.
Yeah. I wish you could live underwater without getting wet.
Question. A question.
Move, Iver. Sorry it took so long. Groove and I were talking about the pond.
At the pond. Oh, do you think there's a question about the pond we could ask for Hoob News?
Fish live underwater, you know.
Yes, but fish don't hate getting wet. Hoobs do.
What are you two talking about?
Well, if Hoobs didn't hate getting wet, could we live underwater like a fish?
Hubba, hubba, hubba. Oh, it's hubba, hubba.
If Hoobs didn't mind getting wet, could we live underwater like a fish? Oh, that's a fan-tabby Hooby question for today's Hoob News, Groove.
Well done, Groove.
And I'm sure it's something Hoobs everywhere would want to know.
Well, I know I do.
Please will you email Roma, Hubba Hubba, to see what she can find out about living underwater?
Of course, Tula. Oh, but before I do that, I'll see what I can find on HoobNet about fish. Here we go. Look at all the different kinds of fish in the sea. Ooh, and there are a couple of big ones swimming in front of all that green bushy stuff. Oh, look, some blue ones, my own personal favourite. Look at the little yellow ones. Oh, and there's a big fierce one there. Look at the sunlight through all those fish. Oh, aren't they beautiful? Fish in the sea.
Well, there are hundreds of different kinds of fish on the Peep planet, aren't there?
Yes, and they all live underwater.
I love watching them swim.
Yeah, that's very fishy, Tula.
Imagine what it'd be like never to walk or run or hop, but just swim.
Even if I didn't hate getting wet, I couldn't live underwater. I can't swim.
You could learn.
I could, yes. But how?
How? I know how, Hoobs.
You do, Hubba Hubba.
Yes, ask the tiddly peeps. They're always jumping in and out of the water.
You're right, Hubba Hubba. Tiddly peeps love swimming.
Come on, Iver. I'll drive you to find some tiddly peeps.
All right, I can't wait. Come on.
Let's get those motorettes singing.
Hooby groovy.
Seatbelt. We're off to see the tiddly peeps.
We're off to see the tiddly peeps. On the road we go. We're off to see the tiddly peeps. They're smart. They're fun.
They know.
The tiddly peeps. If we need to know who, what, where, why, when, and how, we'll ask them. Off we go. We're off to see the tiddly peeps. On the road we go. We're off to see the tiddly peeps. They're smart. They're fun. They know.
How about you?
tiddly peeps?
Hoobs, Iver.
Oh, do you want to do a Hoobie hello?
Yes.
Come on then. Hoob will do. Hoob will do. Woo, woo, woo. Now, as you know, we Hoobs hate getting wet. But if we didn't, and we wanted to live underwater, we'd have to learn to swim, wouldn't we?
Yes.
Do you think you could teach me how to do it?
Yes. Swimming is one of the most fun things that you can do. First, you jump in the water.
Maybe I'll do that last.
Yeah.
Then, you kick your legs and move your arms.
Oh, they're herbaceous. But I think I'll stick to the breaststroke.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting quite good now.
That's great, Iver. You're doing really well, Iver.
Thank you. Are you watching this, Groove?
Yes, Iver.
Swimming is herbaceous fun.
Yeah, he loves it.
Thank you, Tiddly Peeps. I've got to get back to the Hoobmobile now, so Hooble Toodle Doo. Oh.
Oh, yes, I really think I could get the hang of this swimming thing.
Me too, Groove.
If we didn't hate getting wet, we could live underwater, no problem. Oh! Where are you swimming to, Groove?
The Hoobo fridge.
Oh!
All this swimming is making me hungry. Want a bit, Tula?
Thanks, Groove.
Oh, wait a minute. If we lived underwater, we wouldn't be able to get Hoob nips out of the Hoobo fridge, would we?
Then what would we eat?
We'd eat what fish eat.
What do fish eat?
I know! Remember all that green bushy stuff we saw when the fish were swimming under the water? Maybe fish eat that.
I don't fancy eating green bushy stuff. It didn't look very tasty to me. I'd much rather have Hooby Goop in a Hooby Bun. Do we have any Hooby Goop?
Well, you wouldn't be able to eat Hooby Goop in a Hooby Bun if you lived underwater like a fish.
Hubba, 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 hubba.
Who will do, Hubba Hubba? We have a question.
Oh, fantabby, Hooby. There's only one thing I like more than a question.
What's that?
It's the sound of a hooble-glibber calling for its tea. Hooble-glibber, glibber, glibber. Ah. Now, what was your question, Tula?
Do fish eat that green bushy stuff we saw underwater?
Well, let's see. I'll key in fish. Then I'll key in eat. Yes. Fish do eat that green bushy stuff. It's called seaweed.
Huh? I'll go and print that out.
We'll have to taste it.
Taste it? Ugh, you won't catch me eating a green bush. No, thank you. But I'll stick to my Hooby Bun.
Groove, if we didn't hate getting wet and we lived underwater like a fish, then we'd have to eat like a fish, otherwise we'd starve. Will you order some seaweed, please, Hubba Hubba?
It would be my pleasure.
Ugh.
Come on, Groove. It's probably not that yuck.
Besides, we need to learn how to eat it if we're going to live underwater like a fish.
If a Hoob didn't mind getting wet, I wonder just how wet a Hoob would get.
We could Hooby splash and Hooby splish, wiggle and giggle with the shiny fish. It would be Hoobacious in the wavy waters to swim the way the Tiddly Peeps taught us. Hooby splash and Hooby splish, and dine on the fish's favourite dish.
Now I don't mind admitting, don't take this as a Hooby snub, but I don't think we're going to like seaweedy fishy grub.
Seaweedy fishy grub.
A Hooby splash and Hooby splish would be so grand.
A seaweed supper wasn't what I had planned.
Tea time with the fishes, Hooby groovy fun.
I'd rather have Hooby Goop in a Hooby Bun.
Wiggle and giggle with the shiny fish, and Hooby splash and Hooby splish. It would be Hoobacious in the wavy waters to swim the way the Tiddly Peeps taught us.
Tea time with the fishes could be such fun, but I'd rather have Hooby Goop in a Hooby Bun.
Hooby Goop in a Hooby Bun.
Yeah.
It smells, interesting. Oh.
Well, come on, let's try it. You go first, Groove.
Me? Why me?
Because you'll eat anything.
Because you're the bravest.
Oh, thank you, Tula. Excuse me. Let's get this over with.
Well,
It's
It's what?
It's Hoobalicious, Iver. It's almost as good as Hooby Goop in a Hooby bun. Do you know, if I didn't hate getting wet, I could definitely eat green bushy stuff all the time.
Oh, you're right. It's not bad.
so now we know we could live underwater if we didn't hate getting wet. Is it time for Hoob News?
I'm sorry, Groove. Are we keeping you up?
No. It's just that all this swimming and eating is making me sleepy.
Oh no,
What?
we forgot about sleeping. If we lived underwater, we'd have to sleep somewhere.
But where? Where do fish sleep?
Oh, here's Hubba Hubba.
Did I hear you ask, where do fish sleep?
Yes, Hubba Hubba.
Oh, Hooby-galooby! You asked that question at just the right moment. I have a story here from a tiddly-peep which I am quite certain you will find useful.
Once upon a time, there was a little silver fish called Edward. Every day, Edward swam with all his friends in a big group called a shoal. Every night, all of Edward's friends settled down to sleep. Some slept inside the coral. Some slept beneath the seaweed. Some slept under the sand. Poor Edward. He didn't have anywhere to sleep. All these places are full of other fish. There's no room for me. So Edward swam round and round and round, all by himself. One night, a big old whiskery fish swam by.
Why aren't you in bed?
Asked the big old whiskery fish.
Every fish should have a place to sleep.
I don't have a bed of my own, bubbled Edward sadly.
Humph. Follow me.
So Edward followed the big old whiskery fish round the coral, past the seaweed, over the sand, until they came to a great big rock. Then they swam underneath where it was dark and safe.
There's a perfect bed for you,
said the big old whiskery fish. And he was right. Edward snuggled down under his rock and had the best night's sleep he'd ever had.
Oh, I don't think I'd like to sleep in coral. Too spiky.
I agree. So that means we could sleep in sand, under some seaweed, or under a rock. What do you think, Groove?
Oh, I think I'd want to take my Hooby pod with me. Oh, sorry, I've got the Hooby hicks.
Do you know, I suppose if we had to, we could wrap seaweed around ourselves like a Hooby pod.
Good idea, Iver. Let me try.
Hang on. If I lived underwater like a fish and ate seaweed, well, if I made a Hooby pod out of seaweed, then I'd just end up eating my bed.
Stop it, Groove. You just have to stop yourself from eating your bed. Now. Yes, I don't think this will be a bad Hooby pod at all.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't get rid of my Hooby hicks.
Serves you right for eating my fishy bed.
I wonder if you can get the Hooby Hicks underwater.
Oh, I wouldn't think so. Fish must hold their breath all the time. Holding your breath is the best way to get rid of Hooby Hicks. Groove, why don't you hold your breath?
Good idea.
Wait a minute. If we lived underwater, would we have to hold our breath?
Well, of course. We couldn't breathe underwater, could we?
No, I couldn't do it anyway. But it is a good way to get rid of the Hoobicks.
How do fish hold their breath all the time, do you suppose?
Roma.
Oh, here's Roma. Perhaps she'll know.
Who'll do, Roma?
Hoobs, Hoobs. Now, Hubba emailed me earlier and asked me to find out all about fish. Well, as you can see, I'm standing in front of this Hoobaceous tank full of fish.
Ooh.
Peeps call these places aquariums. Don't you think it would be fantabby-hooby to be a fish, Hoobs?
Yes, Roma, we do. But there was something we wanted to ask you.
In a minute, Iver. Now, there's one thing about being a fish that worries me. Breathing.
Oh.
But I've made the most amazing discovery. Fish don't breathe in the air like we Hoobs, you see. Fish breathe underwater. But how do they do it? Well, I'll tell you. See those feathery floaty bits on either side of their heads?
Yeah?
Well, those are gills. Fish use these gills to breathe. Water flows over the gills, and all the little bits of air in the water go straight into the fish. Isn't that Hoobaceous?
Yeah.
So, Hoobs, now you know. That's why fish can live underwater and Hoobs can't. So, Iver, what was it that you wanted to ask?
Oh, actually, I think you might have already answered it, Roma.
Well, I try to be thorough, Hoobs. This says Roma Hoob, in an aquarium, not underwater, but feeling Hoobaciously fishy. Hooble-toodle-doo.
Hooble-toodle-doo!
Oh, well, we can move like a fish and eat like a fish and sleep like a fish. But there is no way we can breathe like a fish.
No, Hoobs don't have gills.
So, the answer to the question, if Hoobs didn't hate getting wet, could we live underwater like a fish, is no.
No?
No?
No.
But I'm fairly certain that on one of my HoobNet searches, I've seen pictures of peeps swimming underwater without holding their breath.
Have you?
Yes. Why don't you ask the Tiddly peeps? They're sure to know. But hurry, it's almost time for Hoob News.
Oh, let's get those motorettes singing.
Yeah. Sorry, Hubba.
We're off to see the Tiddly Peeps. On the road we go. We're off to see the Tiddly Peeps. They're smart. They're fun.
They know.
The Tiddly Peeps. If we need to know who, what, where, why, when, and how, we'll ask them off we go. We're off to see the Tiddly Peeps. On the road we go. We're off to see the Tiddly Peeps. They're smart. They're fun. They know.
Hooble-doo, Tiddly peeps. We've been trying to find out if a Hoob could live underwater like a fish. I think we've found out that we can't.
Why not?
Well, we don't have gills like fish, so how could we breathe?
You could use one of these.
Hooby-galooby! What's that?
It's called a snorkel.
A snorkel? How does it work?
It's easy. You put this bit in your mouth, the top sticks out of the water, then you breathe air through it.
Oh, wow.
Tula, order some snorkels now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait to Groove and Tula in the Hoopmobile, Tiddly peeps. Oh, excuse me.
Peeps.
What are those funny glasses on the top of your head for?
They're called goggles. You wear them so you can see underwater.
Hooby-galooby! Ha! Tula,
Yeah?
Tula, order some of those goggles too.
Goggles.
So, do you think Hoobs could live underwater like a fish?
Well, maybe not quite live, but you could visit for a while.
Well, visiting would still be Hoobaceous.
Yeah.
Well, I've got to get back to the Hoobmobile now, but thanks very much, Tiddly peeps. Hooble-toodle-doo!
Hooble-toodle-doo!
Here are the snorkels and new goggles!
Isn't it Hoobacious? If we didn't hate getting wet, we could breathe underwater.
Yeah, let's have a look. Ah, look at this. Oh, look at these. So, which is the goggle and which is the snorkel?
You put the goggles over your eyes.
And the snorkel in your mouth.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once Timp caught a fish alive.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Tootle put it back again.
Why did you let him go?
Well, he tried to bite my finger, so...
Which finger did he bite?
I don't have any fingers, so that's all right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Once Timp caught a fish alive. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Tootle put it back again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once Timp caught a fish alive. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Tootle put it back again. Hubba, 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 hubba.
So, Hoobs, are you ready with your Hoob news?
We're ready, Hubba Hubba.
Take it away.
Hooble-doop whoop to all you Hoobs out there. Welcome to Hoob News, the new show for Hoobs everywhere. I'm Iver.
I'm Tula.
And I'm Groove.
And today we've been asking the question...
If Hoobs didn't hate getting wet, could we live underwater like a fish?
First, we had a look at Hoobloads of different kinds of fish. And the first thing we noticed was how they moved.
They swim.
Tiddly-peeps are very good at swimming, so I went to see them, and they taught me how to do it.
All that swimming made us hungry.
And that's when we realised that if we wanted to live underwater, we'd have to be able to eat underwater.
We found out that fish eat seaweed, so we decided to try it. And it was really rather tasty.
We found out from a story that fish sleep in coral, or in the sand, or in seaweed, or under rocks.
We made a hoobie pod out of seaweed.
But Groove ate it.
Still, if we had to sleep in a hoobie pod made of seaweed, we could. But then came the big question. If you lived underwater, would you have to hold your breath?
I tried holding mine, but I couldn't. Not for long.
We wondered how fish do it.
Roma told us that fish have gills which take the air out of the water so they can breathe.
Hoobs don't have gills, so we couldn't live underwater.
Then the Tiddly-peep showed us a way of breathing underwater using a snorkel.
But you couldn't breathe through a snorkel all the time.
So, the answer to the question, if Hoobs didn't hate getting wet, could we live underwater like a fish, is no.
But with a snorkel to help us breathe, we could visit for a while.
Hoob, hoob, hooray!
And so it's thanks once again to Iver, Tula, Groove and Roma for giving Hoobs everywhere a little peep into the world of peeps. And remember, wherever you are, have a nice day and Hooble Toodle Doo!
Where are you going?
Let's find some fish to visit.
Oh.
Good idea.
But hang on, I haven't got mine in. I haven't got mine. I don't have gills, you know.
Hubba hubba's in Hoobland, and Roma somewhere far away. The motorettes are singing,
We keep the engine spinning.
hoop hoop hooray! The Hooba is coming your way.
Oh. Hey!